Hey, it's Preston Pugmire with Next Level Life. Today we're going to talk about how to prevent procrastination. Let's do this. What is procrastination? Bottom line, it's anytime you're not doing something that you should be doing, or something that you know you want to be doing to end up giving you a result that you want later in your life. For example, if you're at a job and you have a specific task that you should be doing, maybe you don't want to be doing that task, but really you do want the security that comes with the job, and you want the money that comes from the job. And so eventually it comes down to you really do want to be doing that, even if that task isn't your freaking favorite thing, okay? So that just a little bit about procrastination. Anytime you procrastinate, you think that you're avoiding doing the thing that you're not doing, when in reality, that's not what you're avoiding. Let me explain. This is what's really going on. You are avoiding something else. When I was preparing my TEDx talk, I had to prepare the slides. I had to write it out. Normally when I talk, I just use bullet points, but I had to actually write it out verbatim. That's the way the TEDx wanted me to have it done. And so it forced me to do it in a different way. And I put it off. I put it off about actually creating the slides and then writing my 12-minute talk out verbatim. So if you want to see this video, it's right here. It's called Why Mindset is More Important Than Strategy. I really loved actually doing this whole process. But I'll take you through my mind as far as it goes to procrastination with this, and then you can apply it to whatever you are avoiding doing. It's easy to say, I was avoiding writing the talk and doing the slides. So it's easy to say I was avoiding writing the talk out and then preparing the slides. But if we take it a step further, this is where it really gets interesting. Because what was I really avoiding? You gotta find out what's really going on here. And it's pretty simple. You just have to be ready to be fully honest with yourself and then just ask, why am I really avoiding this? What's really going on? For me, I take a deep breath. I actually picture myself going from an elevator, right? Elevator from my head down to my heart. I get in touch with my intuition, and I'm committed to honesty, and I say, why am I really avoiding this? And so when I did this, I said, oh, because I have placed a lot of meaning on this talk. And if I actually do this thing, what might happen? What's my fear? What's my fear that might happen? As I prepare the talk, and maybe it's not as good as I thought it was going to be. Maybe it's not as well received. Also, I had put all this pressure on myself about a friggin' TEDx talk about how it was going to make or break my career. Ridiculous now in hindsight, but at the time it was real for me. And then preparing the slides, that's an actual visual representation of whether or not my thoughts and my philosophies and just the things that I'm thinking, my new idea that's going to change the world, right, is whether or not that's going to be good enough. And when I started taking a look at this, it's like, oh man, what's really going on here is I have been avoiding the possibility of this talk not being amazing. And then I'll feel stupid, or I'll feel not good enough, or I'll feel rejected. And so really, I'm not avoiding writing the talk. I'm really avoiding the feeling of inadequacy if the talk isn't at the level that I think it should be, or that other people think it should be. So what I was really avoiding was this feeling of inadequacy, this feeling of rejection. And once I got present to that, then I was able to separate myself from that feeling by saying, is this talk really going to make or break my entire career? No. Okay. Well then, if the talk isn't amazing, if the speech isn't amazing, if the slides aren't just unreal great, then what really happens? Well, then nothing really. I just move on, and then I just try something else. It's not that big of a deal. And then once I just let go of that and let go of this idea that I was putting so much weight on it, it became very easy. And I just sat down and actually did it. I called one of my speech coaches, and she came and she sat down. We wrote out the whole thing, and she helped me critique it. And everything went smoothly because I had let go of this idea of what I was really avoiding. So here's the way to prevent procrastination. Let's do this. Grab a chair. Let's actually just do this. Let's talk about this for just a second. We're bringing Jared on to talk about this. He's running the cameras, but check this out. So you're avoiding doing your homework. But what if you were to really ask yourself, like, just a second, let's try this out, because I don't know where this is going to go. What are you really avoiding? If you were to do your homework, even if it's an irrational fear, what is the fear that might happen?
Honestly, I just fear that I'm going to miss out on something in the moment. Like before I do my homework. So that's why I do
miss out on something with your friends or something like that? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Dude, great. So cool. So this is great honesty, being really, really honest. So it's this idea of, if I do my homework before last minute, then I will potentially miss out on some fun or some hanging out or something that happens in the apartment or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now this is what you do. You say, what am I really avoiding? Then you go, and that becomes your new number one thing that you get to address. So let's talk about, for me, I got to separate the TEDx talk and what that meant for me, my career, the meaning, the weight that I had placed on it. So if you said to yourself, I'm going to work on this idea of FOMO. I'm going to work on this idea of getting in control of my schedule and really understanding what things are coming up on the fun schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And if you understood all the things on the fun schedule, all the things on your schedule, and you were also clear about like what benefits come from doing your homework ahead of time, which actually ends up really giving you the freedom to go do the things with your friends, right?
That's true.
So when you put it into that perspective, what would shift for you?
Honestly, I would get my homework done. I would actually do it. I'd sit down, do it, and then kind of work my schedule around what people are doing at the time that they set it.
Dude, and perfect, absolutely perfect. And then when you do this thing that you just said, is there a potential that something fun could come up out of nowhere and you might miss it?
Yeah.
And if you missed it, what would that mean? Like, from your fear?
It would mean I just missed out on making a memory.
Okay, so now you have something else that you can address too, where you're saying, like, what if you let go of the emotional attachment to, I have to make that memory at that time in that place, or else what? Like, what does your fear say? If you don't make that memory, then what might happen?
That I missed out on it. I missed out on an opportunity to be with my friends in that moment.
And what does that mean?
So that means,
from your irrational fear, we're talking about
it just, yeah. I guess it makes me sad.
Okay, dude, honesty.
Yeah.
Love this. So if you can address that sadness, and you can address that, now we're getting into the emotional work around stuff, but if you can say, you know, I am in charge of my own emotions, I have my emotional mastery, like, under control, then it would be like the first domino that would knock down all the other dominoes, as far as, like, it wouldn't be an issue. You'd be like, oh, I bring my own emotions, and yeah, maybe it was a little sad, but I'm resilient, and I'm not afraid of feeling sad, but then also I'm in control of my schedule and time management and everything. And if those two things, the emotional management and the scheduling, were completely under control, what would happen to the homework procrastination?
I wouldn't procrastinate on my homework.
Yeah, and this is going to crop up here and there in little bits, but the main point that I want to drive home is the way to prevent procrastination is to deal with this. What are you really avoiding? Because when you feel, when you get clear on this, then you make this your number one priority. Like, this is what I'm going to address. I'm going to do some emotional work around it. I'm going to do some visualization, some meditation. I'm going to talk to a coach or a counselor, or just, even just write it out. Like, this is my fear around this stuff. Because sometimes when you write out your fears, they just kind of go away because you're actually like putting them out on paper, and then they kind of seem a little bit ridiculous. Like when you see the scariest monster in a horror movie is the monster that's off screen. Often when you see the monster, it ends up like diminishing its power. So when you can speak your fear or write it down or vocalize it, then it ends up reducing its power, and then you can address it, and then you're not going to end up avoiding these things because you've dealt with this thing. Anyway, thank you, Jared.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. This is how you prevent procrastination. So now that you know how to prevent procrastination, you're going to want to be clear on how to set goals. So where should we point? There?
That way.
It's over there. Watch these videos on how to set real goals. Also, if you want assistance with this, click down below. You can get my blueprint for success, which is 6 steps to actually get real results in your life. How you can set the bar for success, get clear on your state, your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, your actions to get those results. It's a free video series and worksheet that's I've used in my training with all of my clients, and it's one of my favorite things that I do, and you can get that for free down below. Thanks so much for watching the channel. Watch all the other videos. Thanks, Jared.
You're welcome.
Live a next level life, and then actually accomplish. And then actually accomplish them. He's laughing because I messed up like 3 takes in a row. But